All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 8th regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. As many are aware, June is our month where we do most of our reappointments. So that's kind of what we're heavy on the agenda with this evening, along with some new ads or backfills for positions that are open, which is great. But before we get there, we're talking minutes. So we have 4 due. Depending on how the board feels, we can either take them in toto or we can take them one at a time, whichever you prefer.
I read through all of them. I'm fine doing this all at once.
Then could I have a motion one way or another?
Steve.
Oh, I would make a motion. We take them all at once.
Okay, I'm gonna. So are we approving them all at once? Just want to make sure we're, meaning that.
For discussion purposes, yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. All right, we have a motion. Basha, we have a second?
Second.
Second, all right. Any discussion, any corrections? All right, hearing none, roll call vote. Steve?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are good to go on that. Next up, community relations announcements and open forum. Basha, let's turn it over to you for announcements, please.
All right. Brookfield Road Bridge Reconstruction Project will begin June 15, 2021. The bridge closure is scheduled to begin July 1st, 2021. Details will be posted. Please seek alternate routes. Household hazardous waste day, Saturday, June 26, 2021, 9 to 1 p.m. And that's at 165 Barefoot Road in Southbridge. There's more details on the town website at www.townofcharlton.net. The vouchers are still available and they are viable for Charlton residents. To get them, visit the Board of Health office at 37 Main Street to sign up for that free voucher that is worth $30. Sign up by June 24th, 2021, 5 p.m. for the June 26, 2021. Now, the Old Home Day Committee is looking for the volunteers. The next meeting actually happened yesterday, June 7, 2021 at 6 p.m., but the next meeting will be June 28 at 6 p.m. at the Senior Center. The vendor applications are still available and the space is very limited. So I believe it's about 90 vendors. So if you guys interested, just you can reach out through the town website. You can call me or Kathleen Walker. Charlton's Women Club, the newest adventure. So I'm very excited about that. We are looking for the new members. If you women of Charlton are interested in joining our women's club, you can call me at 774-312-5519. The first meeting we're planning to have happening at the end of the summer, probably the end of August. Stay tuned for that. It's simply just a charity organization. It's all about empowering women. We're hoping to raise some funds to support local charities, support each other. Hopefully we'll have fun with it. Now, from the police chief down, the following people have helped the police department make some much needed repairs and improvements. Jerry Foskett and the DPW department recently patched the police department parking lot. This will buy us some time, he says. Jerry believes we should now look at chip sealing a lot because patching may not be enough. Andrew Gaulis and Kurt Maskis also stepped up by helping us with replacing our hot water heater and better securing the building by repairing a rotten metal door. Thank you so much for that. Jeff Sorrell and Ken Hack are working on police department security cameras, transitioning from analog to digital. Peter Starkis is working on replacing our rusting, deteriorating cell toilets. Toilets will be fabricated and installed hopefully soon. Replacing the hot water tank and toilets will rectify our last inspection concerns. Chief says he doesn't think he could financially accomplish any of these projects if not for the assistance of all those people. So thank you so much for doing this. This is greatly appreciated.
And I just want to add that to Kurt and I and the Water and Sewer Commission are working together to look at the feasibility with McClure Engineering to tie the police department into the water line. So that's something that we're currently working on right now. So hopefully that's another issue we can check off the box.
And we will thank you for that.
It's great news. And Basha, thank you very much. And Andrew, obviously, if you can send our thanks to everyone else involved in this, but it also goes to show that even though our community pulls together when necessary to make these types of improvements, clearly we have to continue to do capital investments within them. One of the things I'm thinking around is what is going to be needed to be done in October when we think around free cash. So that might be something that this board will want to start to think around, both for the police department as well as the fire department, knowing the current status of the public safety building, fire department, et cetera, being a no-go. So we do have to find ways to apportion money to make all this happen. And it seems to be free cash is probably the best way. So that's a topic that will be hitting us in a few months, but again, it's something that we're going to have to address. So,
And much needed.
thank you for that. All right, let's turn over to open forum. Anyone in the audience have anything that they'd like to discuss? Anyone in chat or anything?
I'm not seeing anything at this time.
Cool, thank you, Andrew. Any other, Steve, do you have anything that you want to talk through for community announcements or anything? Oh, Steve, you're on mute, sorry.
Clock was going off. Yeah. Yeah, no, not tonight. I think you kind of hit it on the head that eventually, whether it's free cash or some other avenue, we're going to have to take a look at the police station and the fire station and come up with something.
Absolutely.
But leaving that with all the other current events going on, leaving that lie right now is probably wise.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of.
All right, let's move over to appointments and resignations. Andrew, let's start with the local inspector, please.
All right, so 5 applications were received for the local inspector position, and only 1 accepted an interview, which was held by the building commissioner and the human resource director. The recommendation for the board is to appoint William Fenner to the local inspector for the town of Charlton. This position is a 15-hour a week at $27.43 an hour. I'd recommend the board make the appointment.
And what are the board's wishes?
I have no problem with this.
Even why?
Can I get a formal motion, please?
I would make a motion that we follow the recommendation of the town administrator.
Thank you, Steve. We have motion. Basha, second, please.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this one?
No.
All right, roll call vote. Basha.
Yay.
Steve.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and welcome. Looking forward to having additional folks to be able to help out. Speaking of which, we have a couple more to do. So next up, Andrew, the assistant town accountant, please.
All right. So 14 applications were received for the assistant town accountant position. 7 were interviewed, with 2 being from Charlton. The interviews were held by Donna Foglio, Ashley Orbizet, Kathy Stanley, and Lynn Dyer. The recommendation is for the board to appoint Jacqueline Bonner as the assistant town accountant for the town of Charlton. The position is 40 hours a week at $26.11 an hour. I'd recommend the board make the appointment.
And the board's wishes are?
I filed a motion to appoint Jacqueline Bonner as the assistant town accountant.
Thank you, Basha. We have motion. Steve, do we have a second?
I would second that for discussion.
You got it. All right, discussion.
Just so that people at home understand this is the backfill position. We're not adding a head here, right?
That's correct.
That's my only discussion on that.
Yep. Yeah, this is filling Ashley's position that was vacated when she was promoted to the accountant/finance director.
Yep,
And-
very good.
Thank you. And that's the applications, the resumes that were lying in a selectman's office.
Yes.
One of them, very impressive. Very.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote. Steve, back to you for this one.
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and welcome once again. Next up, Chief Dowd, we're looking for another per diem dispatcher. Andrew.
Police Chief Dowd is asking for asking the board to appoint Heather Fournier from Oxford as a per diem dispatcher. Ms. Fournier is currently employed by Clinton as a certified dispatcher. I'd recommend the board make the appointment.
Thank you, Andrew. What are the board's wishes?
I can file the motion to approve Heather Fournier
Thank you.
as
We
a
have-
per diem dispatcher.
do we have a second?
I'd second that.
Thank you, Steve. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Basha,
Yes.
Steve,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Welcome, Heather. All right, next up are the reappointment for all of our annual terms. And again, as a reminder, as I mentioned briefly at the beginning of the meeting, we have literally, Andrew, how many we have? Like 50, 60,
Yeah, I'd say probably about 60 appointments.
yeah. But these are our standard appointments for things like Old Home Day Committee, the Boston Post-Cane Committee. There are a couple other ones such as Legal Counsel, ACO, etc. So what I would recommend to the board that you can take or leave this is that possibly, or again for discussion, we can motion to approve all except some that want to be discussed, so we can get those out of the way, or we can do it one at a time. Really, however the board wants to do it. I'm just trying to expedite things as quickly and easily as possible.
I have a question. So if next to every name, when it says the 3 years, 1 year appointment, so my understanding is everywhere it says yes, we heard from the people and they are willing. And
Yeah,
the ones that are left empty, those are the ones that are we still waiting for the answers?
They have not indicated yes or no, whether or not they're seeking an additional term.
I don't know. I will file the motion to approve them at once, the ones that actually responded. I don't.
I would second that for discussion, but then we take on the other, looks like 6 or 10 afterwards, if we hear back from them, one way or another.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, just leave those out for reappointment when they indicate or when we receive somebody interested in serving the role.
So
But if they haven't responded and they're not interested, should we be asking in the interim for other people to?
Well, the Mary wants to, she's gonna have to mail the letters, right? To the ones. Right? To the ones that are
Just
already.
so people.
Right, or maybe you want to make the motion contingent upon them indicating that they're interested in serving. That they receive that, and that they make that known prior to June 30th.
Yeah.
And if not, then your meeting in July, you can take.
Yeah, it looks like the void is more on the Lakes and Pond Task Force. So if either we advertise it, we'll keep the motion the same.
Right, so I believe, and Basha, correct me, that the motion on the floor is to approve everyone who has submitted interest for now, and we will reassess those later for those who have not expressed their interest and or re-advertise.
Yes.
Steve, does that work for you?
Yes, it does.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. Steve,
Aye.
Basha,
I.
chair votes aye. Everyone's appointments have been approved. And again, we're going to work with those folks, basically try to touch base to see if they want to come back for those who hadn't responded yet. If not, we will re-advertise. So we are good for another year there. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh, Andrew, can you check the chat functionality? Someone just Facebooked me and basically mentioned that they were trying to get a question out, but there was no, maybe Amy actually.
I only see that Mary had responded. I don't see anything in Q&A or chat. I would, unless she's sent a direct message to somebody.
Amy, if you can hear us, you know what, message my phone and I'll try to figure out who you are here under there. I just don't see you listed. Yeah, maybe you're under iPhone or resident.
So if you don't mind, I just want to add.
Oh, there's one.
So just before we move off of that topic, I just wanted to add two things from the memo for the board. I just wanted to mention that Clarence Basham is not seeking reappointment to the Memorial Day Committee or the Veterans Grave Marker. Mr. Basham has decided at the age of 98 that it's time to step down, and that he's been active in service to the town since 1963. And then also, I'll also be looking for a motion from the board to dissolve the Technology Committee, as the committee is no longer necessary since the appointment of the since the establishment of the IT department. And that really for specific projects that may require a technology review, that we establish ad hoc committees.
So let's take these one at a time. Let's take the former, let's take the former first, because Mr. Basham has been just an incredible asset to the community all these years, and the idea of having a proclamation honoring him, I think is absolutely great personally. But what are the board's wishes on that one?
I would almost, and I'm with service like that to your community, you look at somebody and you go, come on, you're 98. We're not going to accept it. Go another 25 years. I make a notion.
That's a good one.
Such a great person, great guy, so much service. But
Oh.
I would entertain a motion that we accept his resignation.
Do I have a second?
I second. Move that
Excellent.
hard.
Mr. Basham, you've been, I hope you are watching or see this. You've been an incredible asset to the community. I know you still have a lot of years to still help the town. So we look forward to continuing to work with you in any unofficial role that you would like. So let's take a roll call vote. Basham?
Yes.
Steve?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and thank you once again. We appreciate it. Next up was the dissolution of the tech committee. Just want to make sure that we are okay dissolving that. So I would like to either for discussion or hear a motion.
I will file the motion to dissolve.
Thanks. Thank you, Basha. Steve?
I would second it just for a quick discussion.
Discussion, Steve? All you.
So when this was started, I mean, IT, we didn't have an IT group, I understand, right?
Right. We didn't have an IT. We didn't have an IT director that was in charge of, the oversight of the full IT. So the committee had been established to kind of make sure that new technology procurements were all done kind of in coordination with other departments. But now that you have professional staff tasked with that, it's no longer really serves a role.
Okay. Are there, and then if our IT staff needs to reach out to some experts in the field that.
Yeah, he's still supported through Ken Hahn, our IT consultant. So he does have that backup, and he also has additional, institutional knowledge that he's able to leverage.
Great. Just so that makes me feel better. It's kind of IT is a big thing in the world right now.
Yeah,
it's happened before to us.
Yeah, we have to better. We're looking at the next we have to better situate ourselves. I say, unfortunately, the technology committee itself hasn't really had a good niche role since rolling out the IT department. So we'll look at better ways to have that set up.
Thanks, Steve. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. Roll call vote. Basha?
Yay.
Steve?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and we thank the committee for all their past service. Andrew, one of the questions that was coming up that we weren't able to see was around the bridge work. And do you have any additional information on how that's going to impact people's commutes, how long it's going to take, et cetera?
It should be a few weeks. I'll get the confirmation from Jerry. We'll probably do a reverse 911 when we get the full rollout, but I'm assuming it'll probably be about a month time to prepare for it, and that will limit all traffic in that area. So the bridge itself at the intersection of Brookfield Road is going to be planned for that to be shut down within the next week or so. So once we get a firm dates for shutdown, because we still have to wait for mobilization of the contractor. So we haven't put any real firm date. We put kind of like a early dates on it to plan around, but we'll send out some notifications to the residents.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it. And Amy and or others, if you have questions on that, give us a yell or just call the office. We can get you more info. Okay. Next up, we are going to our fuel bid recommendation, one of our favorite administrative tasks.
So Charlton participated in the FY22 Regional Fuel Procurement Program through CMRPC. Due to the recent fluctuation in market prices surging and rates now being at higher than last year, we actually had to do a rebid. Our first bid actually came in right during the shutdown of the pipeline down south, so that was right in the midst of the surge. Right now, they're actually recommending, after the bid, we're recommending that heating oil be awarded to Charlton Oil at $2.35 per gallon, propane to Charlton Oil at $1.65 per gallon. Then with unleaded gasoline, that go to Dennis K. Burke at 45.22 cents above the market rate price, and diesel at the same rate above market rate. This is different than last year. Then a fixed price, it would be based off of what the best available market rate is of the day with a markup.
I am interested on the entire gasoline diesel approach. I'm not really opposed to it because you're dealing with markup minus as opposed to that fixed cost, which obviously, depending upon variables.
And right now, it's really a tough time to say that in a year, in the next year, it's going to stay the same, or it's going to go down, it's going to go up.
So just something for the board to take into consideration as we talk through these. Again, at least for myself, I'm not necessarily opposed to it. But it is an interesting approach.
It is. It takes the risk off the vendor and puts a little more on us.
Yeah.
So kind of. But if we ask them for a fixed price right now, they're gonna hedge high.
Correct. Exactly.
I mean, we all buy home heating oil, I would think. We all kind of figure that out.
So what are the board's wishes on this one?
I have a question. So those rates, how often are they going to be evaluated?
So the market rate fluctuates basically based on the day that you make the order for the gas or diesel. Obviously, heating and propane, they're locked in for a year's time.
I'm good.
All right. All right. Do we have a motion either way, or no motion for that matter?
I'd make a motion. We accept the town administrator's recommendation on these bids.
I second.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Bosh. All right. Any further discussion? All right. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Steve.
Aye.
Basha.
Yes.
Chair votes aye. We are all set for another year. Thank you very much, Andrew, for coordinating all that. Right. Continue new business, Employee Appreciation Day.
So Chairman Borowski had a discussion with our office regarding an Employee Appreciation Day and having it closer to Labor Day. As you may know, the Board of Selectmen has thrown some sort of appreciation dinner for the employees every year, except last year during COVID. Attaches a draft policy for the board's consideration, should you wish to make it a policy, so that Employee Appreciation Day would occur at the same time every year, or the board could choose to make it informal. What are the wishes of the board?
Thanks, Andrew. So to my colleagues, basically the catalyst with this was, we all know that people have been going through an awful lot the past couple of years between just, typical town government as well as COVID. What I really wanted to do was really show all of our employees, we know it's hard, and we know we're not always the easiest people to deal with, but at the same time, they do a great job day in and day out, putting an emphasis on customer service, again, dealing with all of our crazy requests, et cetera. So I thought this was a nice way to rekindle what had been done in the past around, again, showing appreciation via some type of cookout, gives, just some extra time off, et cetera. So just want to bring it forward for discussion, see what people think. again, Mary Devlin, as always, was great and, typed up a policy for us. I don't know if we need like a formal policy or not, but again, just for discussion purposes, want to see how the board wanted to proceed on this one.
Okay, I love the idea, and I wasn't aware that they did that in the past, because obviously we didn't do it last year, right?
Yeah.
I have an apron, I'll serve.
Cool. Basha, how about you?
But where do we do this though? I'm sorry about it. Is it in the senior center, or do we know? Or
God's honest truth, I think we're just going to figure it out as we go.
Depends on how nice the day is outside. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We could do the tent on the front lawn. We could do it inside. Just so everyone knows too, we wouldn't be asking taxpayers to do this. It would come from private donations, whether from ourselves or just in-kind contributions, not to us, but just for this. So this is not taxpayer funded. This is really just a matter of saying, look, how can we help folks out? So, but yes, I think all those details are to be determined. Hopefully we can find someone like Basha who would coordinate it for us.
I volunteer. I don't think that's enough we can do to thank every single person that is helping out throughout all of this every single day. So yes, absolutely. Well, Steve has a, apron. I can cook. You can smile. We all can do something.
I'll walk around and delegate. That's the only thing I'm good at. See how that works?
I love it.
I don't know why I don't know why right now, but why is Treehouse popping into my head? Basha.
So Basha, so let's coordinate with Andrew and Mary and Kat to try to figure out, again, what day that, if that day in the policy still works best. And we'll just kind of take it from there, but we'll definitely put something together for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm not, all that stiff on the formal policy or how formal that's supposed to be, but I would like to see something somewhere to the effect that this is annual and every year, and give it a name, continue throughout every single year. I think that would be nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we table the formal policy till our meeting in July when David and Patsy are back?
Yeah.
And we'll discuss that, but regardless, it sounds like we have general consensus that we want to move forward for something this summer or fall.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And unfortunately, that means Mary's going to get even more work. Sorry, Mary.
Only offer for that.
All right, old business. Something very quickly, Mary actually texted me, believe it or not. Basha, is there a way, and again, feel free to say no. This is going back to the reappointments. Mm-hmm. To make her life a little bit easier. Yep. Is it possible to amend the motion, and or again, we can continue discussion or not around basically making all those appointments valid if people come back between now and the 30th and saying yes, so that we wouldn't have to vote on them again.
Okay, so we amending the original motion. Okay, to exactly what you said. Absolutely. You think
Steve, does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We have a motion and a second. Again, just to be formal. Basha?
Yes.
Steve?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're all set. Mary, we do our best to keep you happy.
Gotta keep Mary happy.
Exactly. Other old business that the board may want to discuss. So we have, Andrew, what are we doing under, I don't believe we have any policies except for the one we just kind of discussed that we're going to table till July.
Okay.
Goals and objectives, I don't think there's anything new in the TA report.
Just wanted to acknowledge the Charlton Elementary School. They raised over $900 through their teacher dress down fund and presented checks for $300 to chip in the Raise Foundation and Focus. Just they presented those checks to me. What was it, last Friday? I forget what day it is. Last Friday after before last. But just wanted to thank them for a job well done and contributing back to the community.
That's great. Very well done.
That
Very
is
well
so
done.
awesome.
All right, other business and including future agenda items. What does anybody have? All right. The only oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say I'll add in, I know we had previously discussed TA goals for the next year, so I'll place that on July. And Bill, I don't know if I'm taking the words out of your mouth on this one, but
feel free, honestly. I talk enough, Andrew.
Perambulation. I think you had talked to Mary earlier about doing it September, but I was just going to recommend maybe we put that in August, so that way we can plan for a date in September or October.
Yes, please. For those who aren't aware, basically, once every X amount of years, we need to actually go around and physically locate the boundaries of Charlton. We'll let everyone know when it is. It's actually a lot of fun. You are literally walking through the woods looking for some type of either metal spike or some type of mark that says, yes, here is exactly where. So, and believe it or not, you actually have to notify neighboring towns to let them know. It's actually fun. It's kind of like a glorified walk in the woods, but
Oh, yeah.
but it is fun to do. So we will let everyone know when that is in case anyone else wants to come out. There might be some historians in the group who may want to join.
That'll be nice. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to put on the agenda for the next meeting, we mentioned it briefly with Henry before he left, was when we start thinking around a new student select person in the fall. I had broached the idea around potentially opening it up to a Bay Path student as well. So I'd like to have that discussion in July. Again, I just want to make sure all our students are served, regardless of, if they're going to Bay Path and or.
Yep.
We have anything else? All right. So our next meeting is, at least on paper, June 22nd. But again, we're doing our best to try to stay on a summer schedule because, as many are obviously aware, it's been 90 degrees the past few days, and it's nice to kind of breathe when we can. Actually, speaking of which, as a reminder, when it is super hot like this, the library does open its doors for folks to go in and cool off. So anyone who's feeling uncomfortable, miserable, etc., go in there. The AC is on. The staff is fantastic. Excellent books, etc. So give yourself a chance to stay healthy, cool down, get over to the library. Obviously, site and Facebook page can be updated when those occur, but when in doubt, head on over. Anyone else have anything that they want to discuss before we go into exec?
Nope.
Cool. Again, hopefully we won't see each other again until July, but we'll see how that works out. I'm no longer doing this.
I just, I guess what they built, while we have me here,
Yep.
the only thing that I can foresee that might be on that June 2nd is we are doing some interviews for positions. Whether or not it's the wishes of the board that we just put those for your signature and execution in your sign folder, maybe belay an actual meeting on that. I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to do, or if you want to just hold any recommended appointments to July.
I think depending upon, I think it depends upon what it is, to be honest. I mean, I'd rather take a formal vote on it. That's just me. So if we had to meet quickly, if people were available on the 22nd, we could. If we could push it off to July, that's great. But, again, we don't stand in the way of business getting done. So worst case scenario, we have a very quick meeting on the 22nd.
All right. I might have one or two, so I'll just float them over to you and you can give me the thumbs up and maybe we can just loop it around if we need to.
You got it. All right, Steve or Basha, I would ask if you could read our executive session item.
Which would be the whole reasons for conveying?
No, it'll be agenda item number 14.
Oh, agenda number 14. Go ahead, Steve. Oh, no.
I'm bouncing all around here. Give me a second.
See, this is what happens. I stop doing something.
No, I know. Well, Bill, you have it memorized.
On the bottom of the agenda.
No, I know, but I'm okay. Executive session adjourned. Motion to enter executive session under MGL.C30A section 21A number 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, legal updates. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on bargaining or litigation portion of the public body, and so the chair declares.
And the chair does declare. So round table, Basha?
Yes.
Steve?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are in executive session. We won't be discussing anything else except adjournment when we get out. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the month. If you have any questions about anything, obviously reach out to any of us and or Andrew. Take care, stay cool.
Yeah.